Today you're going to see a middle-aged dude struggle with audio, but it only makes sense because you will feel good about yourself after this video and feel better at what you do after watching what I do. So this video is a complete impromptu. It was not planned. I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to make a video about this. It was me struggling through some settings and discovering a few things with gear that I've had for a while. And I thought, you know what? I bet you people do not know about this, or you do, and I'm just way late to the game. But today I'm going to talk about the Tascam, what is it? Oh, Portacapture X8. It's right here. The Portacapture X8, I've had it for about a year and a half, maybe going on 2 years almost. This one is got 32-bit float. It is pretty awesome. Do I use the 32-bit float? Do you know what 32-bit float is? It's pretty much for idiots like me. I could just record and peak really loud or whisper and I could fix it. That's the great thing about it. But here is the thing. A lot of you have not that much desk space. And although I do have a lot of desk space, I don't want to take it up. The Tascam X8 has 4 XLRs, would work perfect for podcasting. But what makes this actually really awesome is for an extra $35, there is an optional piece of little adapter there. You see it blinking? That is a Bluetooth adapter. It plugs in. It looks like a thumb drive, but it isn't a thumb drive. And it gives you wireless connection. Now, you can use it 2 different ways. You can use it either for time code, which I don't use it for, or you could use it specifically for remote access on your phone or tablet or any kind of, external device. So I'm going to show you here how I actually go into it. So we're going to go into the Tascam. We're going to connect. And so this is on my iPhone 15 Pro. It's pretty nice. And now I have full access. You can see it right now as the audio is going. There it is. So now it's actually bigger than the screen on the Tascam, which the Tascam screen is actually a pretty good size, but you can connect this to anything. So if you are working on a podcast that you may not be in the podcast, but you're remote, this comes in handy. But I will tell you this, I don't have to bump or tap this or mess anything up, and it works. So let me just talk about the gear I have right now. For cameras, we have the R6 Mark II with the 14 to 35 at, not even sure, 24 millimeters at me at f4. And then I've got the 10 to 18 millimeter RFS on the R7 right here. Looking straight down, it has a really good macro capabilities of being close. So that is usually my top down. And then for the important part, obviously we have the Tascam Portacapture X8 and the Sennheiser MKH416. Now, there are mixed reviews out there. Do you use the MKH416 for podcasting? Well, I don't know. You tell me how that sounds. I have a lot of reverb right here. I'm going to get a little bit closer. So I could get right in there. You will not hear any of those pops in here. It's very crisp. The other microphone that YouTubers and other professionals will talk about is the MKH50. That's the Sennheiser MKH50. And that one has very little reverb. And reverb is kind of like an echo to the mic, not necessarily to the room, but it does bounce. The room does make sense to it. So it'll bounce off and back into the mic, where when your voice hits the MKH50, it doesn't bounce around and come back in on the sides. The nice thing about the MKH416 is it makes an amazing boom mic above, and I've been using this for the last couple of years, so any of those talking head videos. The problem is, how do you EQ that? And that is getting the equalizing right to sound good. It is hard. This microphone sounds amazing all by itself, But sometimes, especially if I'm going to do like a podcast like this scenario, you want to have it sound good. Now, this room is not treated at all. I do not have any soundproofing at all. I don't usually record in here. And so this is kind of a test. I really need you to tell me how good or bad this actually sounds. I love the MKH416. It is hard to use it in specific areas. So with the Tascam Portacapture X8, I'm going to show you how to EQ on this and change the sound of the Sennheiser 416 or any other XLR microphone that you would use in the podcast. The nice thing about the Portacapture X8 is this thing is small. There is my hand, there is this. 4 XLR hookups. You also have the option of doing remote with your phone or with a tablet. So if you're traveling and you want to be a traveling kind of a podcast and be on the road and go on location to the people you want to interview, this is amazing. Get a couple of these mics, couple stands, camera, and traveling is easy. You don't have this big board like the Mackie or the Rode that you're carrying around. So this would be a great alternative. Now, I do want to show you right in here that, here, I'm going to bring the mic close. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to pull myself away. So if I'm out here, there is going to be a lot more echo with it. But I did EQ this already, and I'm going to show you what my settings are, that it does make a better podcast mic by being close. Now, in the right environment and down in my lower studio, that's where I actually have it EQ'd pretty good. And it's not the best soundproofing room, but it is a lot better than my office here. Here, we'll get a little bit closer. So we'll go into the settings and you go over to mixer. Now we are on channel 3 here, and you just go into, well, let's do this. We'll go into inputs, channel 3, and then right above the 3 that's red, hit that little microphone. And now we have this option here. So we can mess with the gain, the input, it's phantom power, and we'll scroll. You could do a low cut. So let's see, we could do 40 hertz, 80 hertz, 120 to 220 hertz. So let's just go all the way to the extreme. So I'm going to keep talking, and now we are at the 220 hertz. By the way, if you aren't already, put on headphones, because that's where this is going to make a lot of sense. Tom Buck does an amazing Sennheiser video of the 416 next to the MKH50, but you will not appreciate either of those mics if you don't have a headphone on. But earmuffs, I'm going to call them earmuffs. That's a middle-aged thing. No, headphones. So this is the 220 hertz. That is the 80 hertz, 40 hertz, and where I'm liking it is off. And let's go down to the EQ. Now, I have it on a manual setting, but let's just turn it off. So right now it is off. This is exactly how the Sennheiser 416 sounds all by itself without any kind of EQ at all. So here we are. This is with just the regular microphone. Let's go. There's these presets. There's the voice, guitar, loud, vocal. Let's go right to vocal. So here is vocal. That is definitely a lot better than what the off was. So this is a good setting, a preset that you don't have to think about. If you want to go over to voice. So here is voice. I got a little bit more, I would say, of those mid to high is showing up on that, so you can hear a little bit more specific. Let's just turn it off as I'm speaking. So right now it is off, and there's that lower bass, not as much depth, but it's got a bass to it. And again, we'll go right over to voice. So there's the voice on there, and then we will move it over to vocal. And then the preset I did is manual, and the manual actually picks it up just a little bit more detail into the voice. I have a low voice as it is, so those other presets do quite a number. But as you can see, you can tweak it right on top. So you have low, and if I hit the low, I can adjust right there. And then I can go to the mid. And then with the mid, I can actually, and it's nice because it's color coded. I should know because it's vertical, but right there you could see that that the yellow is yellow, green, green, blue, blue, red, red, right? And so you can then change, let's click on that, the frequency then, so the kilohertz. And so I can adjust the kilohertz right there. And so there's a lot of tweaking to do. I am not a audio tuning, EQing kind of guy. This is something that I am learning, I'm enjoying, and it is very, very relative, I guess. It is subjective. Some people like a lot of detail. Some people like more bass. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to go with that. I'm going to keep this where it's at, but you could tweak these, and I'm sure I'm going to be tweaking it a lot more to my liking. We're going to find out what this sounds like. I'm very curious of what this will sound like on my phone, because that's the majority of the place I watch YouTube. So it will sound different on your phone than it will on your computer, than it will with headphones on. So it's always subjective. How does it sound for you? We're going to go back and we're going to just do a quick off. So I'm going to go through the settings. So there is off. Right now, that is just the Sennheiser 416 all by itself, going right through the Portacapture X8. And now we are going to go just voice. So now it's just the voice all by itself. Then we're going to go off, because this is how we're going to do the comparison. And then we are going to go to, I'm not going to do guitar. We're going to do vocal. So here is the vocal. Do you notice a difference with that? So vocal, and now let's go off. And so here we have it off, and now I'm going to go over to manual right now. So this is the manual settings, a little bit more detail in the tone of my voice. Now I am going to leave links for the Sennheiser 416 below. It is a $1,000 mic, but there are sales out there where you can get a little bit lower. But in this industry, buy nice or buy twice. And this is definitely a microphone you'd want to buy definitely nice and not twice. There is the 50, and you might prefer the 50 over that. And so you could always rent these mics as well and do a comparison. I am curious if you guys have a preference between the presets, the voice or the vocals, or did you like the EQ that I am doing right now? Do you like the manual setting? This thing can definitely be tweaked, and you can save these into multiple presets. So if you're on the go, you know you're going to be using the Sennheiser 416 or say the SM7DB or B, you know exactly what preset to go into, and then you can set that up. So this would make an amazing podcast setup right here on the go. Now I'm touching it right here in the middle, and I'm only doing this because this isn't affecting anything, but you've got the wheel right here, and this wheel, you could tweak it such in micro adjustments, which is really nice. Plus you have internal recording on here in 32-bit float. So you could be recording all channels separately. And if for some reason anything else failed, you have it recorded here on the podcast. And we all know that podcasts don't need to be video as well. So it could just be audio. And now it just makes it a lot easier. You have this, a few mic stands, a couple people that have something awesome to say, and you are set. Now, I did want to interject real quick. A lot of people buy the SM7B or the 7DB now because of its iconic role in history and that it's an awesome podcast mic, but it is a one-trick pony, and that is in one area in a studio or on location. But when it comes to the Sennheiser 416, you could use this as a podcast mic and a boom mic, and it's just got more versatility to it. And that's what I like. Let me know if this middle-aged bald dude made any sense today. And if not, just be nice, please. Now, I'm going to leave a link for the Tascam Portacapture X8 below. I do highly recommend it if you're looking for an external recorder on the go. Plus, it can record directly into your computer through USB-C and works amazing for any kind of screenshot video conferencing that you need. Also, the Sennheiser 416. Yeah. Holy cow, you stuck around this long. I can't believe it. So you're probably willing to stick around a little bit longer for those videos I don't think you'll be disappointed.